For the first project of 2026, I'm gonna be making this easy to build bench hook. This is essential to every shop. If you don't have one, you're gonna wanna make one. It's simple, it's a 20-minute build. I want you to stick around and take the journey with me. This is the first build of 2026, and we're gonna be building a bench hook. Now, a bench hook, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty much a necessity in every shop. If you already have them, you know that. If you don't, it's a very simple build, and you should definitely make one, at least one, for yourself. Very, very useful in planing small parts, cutting small parts, stuff like that. Now, normally I use plywood, and I don't have any around, so for this one, I have a nice piece of clear pine, still rough, and we're gonna make it out of this. So first things first, let's get over to the jointer. Now my jointer is 8 inches. This is about 12 inches. So I'm gonna try a little joint what I can, and then use the old board underneath trick to get the other side flat, and then we'll turn it over. I think I could probably get away with just skip planing this thing, 'cause it's pretty flat, but let's do it the right way. So off to the jointer. We're at the jointer. I had to remove the guard because of the size of the board. I'm gonna run this over there. I'll put the guard right back on when I'm done. But this is what I need to do so I can at least flatten part of the board. And then we will do the old board on the planer to lift it up over that, run it through the other side, then flatten the other side. You'll see what I'm gonna do in just a minute here. So let's get jointed. Okay, so you can see we jointed out 8 inches, we still have 2. So we will now do this on the planer. Now we're at the planing stage. Now I'm gonna be using this Oliver. Now I got this Oliver a year ago. I actually won it in a Black Friday contest they had, and I've been kicking the living out of it for a year, and this thing is held up. I did build a stand for it. I did film that. Haven't done the video yet. If you want to see that video, just let me know downstairs there, and I'll get that done. But we're gonna take this. We made a auxiliary table, basically just like a giant bench hook. We're gonna stick it in here. And what this is gonna do is allow us to lay this board on here with the unjointed side down, flatten the top, and they'll be able to flip it over and then flatten the entire board. All right, let's get it done. Got one side flat, now we have to roll it over and get that side rejointed. So we're just going to remove this auxiliary table and continue as normal. Not that it's critically important for what we're doing, but I am going to still square the one edge to the side, and then I will just trim everything nice, get a nice clean board. divider gauge with a fence on it installed. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna square the end here. I'm gonna move it over. I'm gonna lop off probably like 2 inches. That's gonna be what we're gonna use to hook the bench. And then I'm gonna cut it to about 18 inches. See, so far there's nothing really to this. So we're going to take that piece that we lopped off the end and put some glue in the countersink, and we're going to screw it to the top piece. Not worried about squaring this. It's just going to hold this board to the bench for me. I can I can lean it up against the bench, or I can a little slippery. I'm gonna wait for it to tack up just a little bit before I start drilling. This is where a little pinch of salt sometimes will keep that from happening. So let this tack up a little bit. So now we're gonna drill our holes. Doesn't really matter where they go. I'm going to put 3 screws. All right, so hook part is done. Goes against the... See you later. I was going to say the hook part's done. Now what we need to put is a piece of wood here to support our workpiece. Now, I'm not going to go pine. I'm going to go with a piece of hardwood. I got this piece of walnut. I'm going to put this here, and this is probably about 3/8 thick. So it's not going to be as thick as the stuff we're planing, but it's enough to hold our workpiece. So let's add that on. So I'm going to glue this down a little differently than the last one. The last one I had to wait a little while for it to tack up. This time I'm going to use our wood glue, but I'm going to use a little CA glue too, so we don't have to wait. Glue, glue, put a dab of CA, 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 spray our workpiece with activator, and place it. It should set up much quicker. Like that, we're ready for the screws. So I rescued the drill that flew the coop, and again I shortened my depth of my countersink, and I'm just going to put 3 holes. screws. And like that, we are done. Our bench hook is finished. Again, we used a piece of rough cut pine. So this is probably about 7/8 of an inch thick, which is, I didn't want to go too thin. Don't prevent some warping if it might warp, but this cleat here and this cleat here will probably keep it flat. Now, the last thing to do is basically maybe just put some finish on it to protect it. I'm not going to bother sanding it. And right now, let's get a piece of wood and a plane, and let's see how it works. Using the board is very simple. You just take the end cleat that hooks the bench. You can stick it at the end of your bench, position it, and work it. Or you can take it in the end vise, or any vise, and lock it so it doesn't move on you. Then you just take your piece you want to plane. In this case, it's planing. And this is going to hold it in place. And then we can smooth before finishing. What it does do, it eliminates the need to have bench dogs, basically. Rather than locking this into the bench, if you have that, that's great. If you don't, just make yourself one of these. You can make it 20 minutes and it's ready to go. Now, you can also make one of these, which I'm probably gonna make one with the leftover piece I had from this to cut small parts. I'll just build a higher fence. Maybe I'll install a magnet in the fence and then backup fence. And then you can use this to cut smaller parts rather than put them on the table saw or on the chop saw. Make things safer. Hand tools are always safer. That's gonna do it. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help us grow. Thank you, and we will see you next time.